Hi, everybody. This is Joe. Just want to give you a quick update as to where we are in the Fall Creek School District when it comes to the reentry plan for the 2021 school year. So we're less than a week away, right? Next Tuesday, we're going to welcome kids back onto campus, and we're really excited at the prospect of having students back in the building. And I think every year at this time, a couple of emotions really bubble to the surface, right? I think people are excited to get back to school. Well, maybe parents are a little bit more excited to get kids back to school. I think people are a little bit nervous because it's new, right? And I think people are a little uncertain because, even if you've been in this building for a number of years, that when you're going to a new spot in the building, that lends itself to a little uncertainty. And I think what we've done this year is just amplify all of those levels, right? Like, we're more excited because we haven't seen you since March and we really want to see you. We're a little more nervous because we don't know exactly what this is going to look like because it's all new for us. And we're a little bit uncertain because it seems like around every turn there's a little tweak or change that we have to make sure that we can keep things moving forward. And we're going to do that. And I think one thing that I've learned about being nervous or being uncertain about a journey in terms of where you're going is just making sure that you have the right people along with you, because that makes it a lot easier when it comes to being nervous or being uncertain. And I will tell you right now, we have the right people. We have the right people. They will be ready for you. The work that they've done over the course of the last week and the last couple months is spectacular. They will have the rooms ready. They will have the instruction ready. They will be ready for your kids when you get here. I promise you that. And I think that's one of the biggest things about taking a journey on like this when it comes to nerves and uncertainty. Making sure that the right people are with you makes it feel a little bit better, and we have the right people. So a couple of updates for you. You should have received an email from us yesterday, elementary, mid school, and high school, just with some guidance in terms of what that looks like. If you haven't received that email, please let us know right away. Bus routes are being finalized today. By tomorrow, you will have heard from your driver to make sure that we know what time you're going to get picked up. And I think that's really important. We want to be very clear on that because we can't have kids in the building until 7:45, and so we have to really time those out the best that we can, right? Also, if you are involved in Cricket Online, the 612 group should have heard from Mr. Hakes. If you have not heard from Mr. Hakes, please let us know. I know he was having meetings the last couple days, and we'll have some today, actually. And if you are on the Cricket Online K5 group, we're partnering with Edgenuity, and you will hear from us today or tomorrow to tell you what the first week of school is going to look like. Well, you'll also hear from us tomorrow in terms of what arrival is going to look like, because it's going to be a little bit different. And we want to make sure that we have adults in the right spot and we can get kids to where they're going, but also make sure that they feel safe in that process. So those are just quick updates for you. We're going to do the best we can. One of the things that's really important for us as we move forward in this is trying to adhere as much as we can to the distancing model that we've been given by Eau Claire County Health Department and the State Health Department. And that 6-foot distance is really important to us, and we've spaced our rooms out like that. We're using a true cohort model at the K5 group. 612 is going to be in smaller groups, A and B. We're going to try to cohort the middle school as much as we can outside of Phi-Ed and music. That should be not an issue at all. And then when they're in those spots, we're going to try to keep them in smaller groups within those spots when it comes to the larger group in band and in music and in Phi-Ed. So those are some things just in terms of the updates that we're looking for. The last thing that I want to talk about is I've been getting a lot of questions about what happens if we get a positive COVID test, or what should we do in terms of keeping kids home, and how do we know when to keep kids home, and how do we know when it's okay to send them to school, and when do they need to be tested, and everything that goes along with it. So we are taking our guidance directly from Eau Claire County Health and the Wisconsin Department of Health Services. So according to the document in front of you here, symptom-based school exclusion for COVID-19. Within the last 24 hours, students or staff who have experienced above what is normal for them in one of these areas, a cough, shortness of breath, difficulty breathing, new loss of taste or smell, or two of the following things: fever, chills, rigor, muscle aches, headaches, sore throat, congestion, runny nose, nausea, vomiting, diarrhea. If those symptoms are present, if the answer is yes, student or staff must stay home. COVID testing is recommended. Household contacts must also stay home. If the answer is no, then is the person a close contact to a confirmed case, or a household contact to someone that needs to stay home based on the symptoms? And then you would go through the graphic organizer below that for the no section. In terms of the yes section, If the result of the testing yields a negative result, then the student can return 24 hours after being fever-free without fever-reducing medication. Household members can return immediately. If the test is positive, then the student or staff member must stay home for 10 days since the first symptoms began until fever-free without the use of fever-reducing medication for 24 hours and showing improvement of symptoms. From a household member perspective, they must also stay home for 14-day quarantine period from the last exposure. Even if the person has a negative COVID-19 test during those 14 days, they cannot return. Contact tracing for all those contacts will need to happen. If people choose not to test, then they must stay home for 10 days since the first symptoms began and until fever-free without fever-reducing medication. In addition to that, household members must stay home for 14 days from the last exposure. Even if the person has a negative COVID test during these 14 days, they cannot return. So those are the symptom-based exclusion for COVID-19. And those are things that we want to make sure that you are aware of when it comes to sending kids to school, right? So we also have a way to identify close contacts in terms of positive individual tests at school. Those will all be driven by the county health department, and they are really individual specific, case specific as we get into that situation. So we want to make sure that you were aware of that and what that looked like in terms of sending kids to school or not sending kids to school. Our hope here is to make sure that we can keep kids on campus as long as we possibly can, as safe as we possibly can. And we need your help to make sure that the kids that are coming to school are able to come to school without symptoms. And we really trust you to do that. You'll have information based on self-certification in those emails that you got yesterday. We just want to make sure that the people are here, are able to be here based on the symptoms that they don't have. Make sure that they're symptom-free at that point. So, I know that's a lot. I'll answer some more questions on a Facebook Live as well if you have any additional questions, but I wanted to get this out to you so you could kind of take all of that in. We'll continue to update the process as things change, but we're really excited about the beginning of the school year, and we really trust you, and we trust you to trust us in the process, because I know that there's a lot of uncertain things happening here. But again, if you have the right people moving forward, it makes that uncertainty and the nerves that go along with that uncertainty a lot better. So let's stick together and move through this thing together, okay? All right, everybody, that's all I got. We will talk to you soon. Have a great day. Take care. Go Crickets.